Our keynote today says that word of mouth has gone world of mouth. The competitive telecommunications industry is born of entrepreneurs, investors, and visionaries. We all know full well the power of marketing, as many of us began our companies with little more than a shoestring budget, and we relied on our good services and our good name and our customers to win more customers and bring our businesses to a success. Today, the power of social networking takes our ideas and our visions and globalizes them in the blink of an eye. Erik Qualman is cut from our cloth. He's an entrepreneur, a visionary, and the author of the best-selling book, Socialnomics. For the past 16 years, Erik has helped grow the digital capabilities of many companies, including Cadillac, COMPTEL member company Earthlink, EF Education, Yahoo, and TravelZoo. We can leverage social media to communicate with our customers and truly bring forward the attributes that make our products and services superior to the competition. Please join me in welcoming Erik.
We're at the biggest shift that I think we've seen, at least in my lifetime, when it comes to social media. So 2 years ago, I might have been talking about here's why it's big and here's why it's coming. Now we all understand it from a standpoint of we need to do this, but the question is on how well we can do it. And we have a short amount of time here, but we're going to have some Q&A after we speak. And I can talk about this stuff ad nauseum and also listen about it all day because I love this stuff. So the question is, we don't really have a question on whether we do social media. The choice is on how well we do it out there today. And so what is really Socialnomics all about? It's really at a 10-second level, word of mouth on digital steroids. So in time, every company, every product, every service will be rated. Even people are going to be rated. And so how quick is this stuff moving? A good example is on TripAdvisor. If you guys use TripAdvisor, it's been a great tool for many years because it provides ratings. If I'm going to Bermuda and want to know what the best bed and breakfast is, where to stay, then I can use TripAdvisor. It might say there's 103 ratings for that bed and breakfast in Bermuda. Very helpful. But what's different in today's day and age is now it's adjusted to where through a tool like Facebook Connect, and at a 10-second level what Facebook Connect does is that it allows you just to have one universal login. So very helpful from a consumer standpoint. If I go to TripAdvisor, all I have to remember is my login for Facebook, and then I can enter ratings and reviews. And more importantly, now I can see my friends' ratings and reviews. So if I'm going to Bermuda, it'll say, here's your 104 ratings from everybody else, but here's your 5 ratings from your friends. So that's the main difference. That's really what Socialnomics is all about. And so again, I mentioned also people are going to be rated. So that's on LinkedIn. It might be how many people recommend you. But also on tools like Clout, there's a score from 0 to 100 on how influential you are. So companies are starting to use this on who's the biggest influencers out there. So it's a way for some people to triage companies when they have so much inflow in terms of customer service, and they can only answer one of the 3 items that just came in a timely fashion. They can look to tools like Clout to see who's the biggest influencer and answer that person first. Unfortunately, life's not fair. We'd love to answer all 3 questions, but because of bandwidth issues and support issues, we might only be able to answer one, so it's important we answer the one that's going to have the biggest return for the company. Because a lot of people ask, where in the company should social media reside? And the answer is yes, it resides everywhere because it touches every aspect of the business, and that makes sense because social media is living, breathing. It is your customer. It is your client. So what I wanted to showcase within 27 minutes is if you look at Nokia's Twitter account, that it touches on all these aspects of the business. They have a potential champion of their products. They have public relations, product development, sales opportunity, customer service, and they also have word of mouth. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these for the sake of time, but let's look at the sales piece. So this girl says, I dropped my phone today. I think I'll just get that Sidekick LX09 instead of getting that Nokia and badly need of a new phone. So that's a sales opportunity for several companies to reach out to that person because you can listen to this stuff, and I'll show you some tools on how to do this. But that's a sales opportunity out there waiting to happen. So this next example that I'm going to use is a guy that sells wine. So he's out of New Jersey, sold about $4 million worth of wine. Then in 2006, he decides, why don't I use YouTube as a mechanism, and I'll tell people how to learn about wine. So I'm going to show you 2 episodes from Gary Vaynerchuk. And what he does is the first one you'll see is what you'd expect from a wine library TV. That's what he calls it. That's what you expect from someone trying to teach you about wine. And we'll show you the next episode because he learned from his failures and adjusted accordingly.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Wine Library TV. I am Gary Vaynerchuk, Director of Operations here at Wine Library at winelibrary.com, and I am very proud to launch what we think is the...
Okay, so that's Gary. Pretty boring stuff. He's got his black sweater on, everything's really neatly arranged. He's talking in a very civil tone. It's kind of what you'd expect. No one watches this. So then he decides, he takes the feedback. They go, we want the New Jersey Gary. We can learn about wine like this from a lot of people in a lot of books. We want to learn it in a fun way. We want the New Jersey Gary. So he adjusts accordingly. I'm going to show you episode 505 and see if you can notice any differences. Before I show you that episode, I pulled this wine example because if you think about it, it's probably the most difficult thing you could sell online. There's different rules and regulations for all 50 states. You have to be 21 to buy this stuff. Also, the shipping gets very complex in a liquid form. The other thing, too, is that he's got his B2B component because he has his own wine label he has to use for distributors. So you can't think of anything really more complex than trying to sell wine online. But he's had success doing it. And I'm going to show you episode 505, where he failed forward, failed fast, failed better.
Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. Say it with me, Vayniacs. And this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, a.k.a. the internet's most passionate wine program. I'm a 20% Mourvedre, $20 US. Pretty nose, like an ink clear, like, you know, let's give it a whirl. Nice fruit, dark chocolate, so let's go with like a 70% cocoa count coming through on this. Some lavender on the back end.
All right, so a lot different, right? So he goes from selling 4 million in 2006 to 50 million in 2008 by using this tool and also engaging through Facebook and also Twitter with the folks that were interested in the videos. So it's really interesting on how you can change stuff. All right, now on the mobile side of things, obviously mobile's moving rapidly, and you guys know this probably much better than I do. But it was interesting, I was working with Starbucks several months ago. And so a lot of companies, when they want to get into mobile or do Facebook apps or do iPhone apps, what do? They go, let's make a game, even though they don't have the first clue about how to make a game. So save the games for Zynga. People want to get something from you where only you, the company, can provide that of value to them. So we started talking about what can we do from a mobile standpoint for Starbucks. We realized one of the biggest challenges they face is that there's long lines at Starbucks. So they lose a lot of revenue because people leave because the line's too long. That's also not the best consumer experience sometimes. So what we decided to do is why don't we have a phone app that you just turn it on once. If you order the same thing Monday through Friday at the same store, just automatically have the order go in when you hit that 10-minute mark away. So you're making the turn in your car, it automatically sends the order in. Then you could walk in and just get your Starbucks. You don't have to wait for it. So that's what you have to think about from the mobile standpoint is how do you provide something of value to the end customer? All right, so this is an eye chart. We're going to send this out to you. But these are a lot of free listening tools that you can use so you can listen, interact, react, and sell. There's some free, there's some paid. But I'm going to send this out to you. These are just quick tools that you can use. You don't have to be very technically savvy to use these. They're very straightforward and very simple, but they're great tools that you can start using today, either individually or for your company to have success.